Come join Libby, Molly, and Tiffany, the ladies of Consignment Chats, where we talk about all things consignment.
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
How are you today?
It's been so long since the three of us have been together.
I know. What a crazy summer of recording.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
I know.
hope we're still in sync. Oh my gosh.
Right? This could be interesting today, but y'all, it's good we came back together because today is episode 30. And I feel like those 10s are milestones, right? Like, woohoo! So it's episode 30, and I'm also glad you're both here because the topic today is really a great one for the two of you. You're definitely more experienced with this because today we're going to talk about cross-listing. We've had a lot of people asking about it. It is definitely the current trend nowadays for resellers is cross-listing and using multiple platforms to sell product on. And so I think we really need to delve into that. And by we, I really mean y'all, not me, because I don't have as much experience.
But you do crosslist, so I know.
I do a little, but you both do a lot more. So, and I know in episode 5, we chat about the selling platforms, and we have resources in our community that can help you with choosing the platforms that are going to work best for your business, because everybody has different things they like better or work better for what particular items you're focused on in your business. I know I'm usually when I'm at home in past episodes, you see me pull up Tiffany's beautiful spreadsheet that she did about the platforms, but I'm not home right now. I'm on location somewhere else. And I don't have the pretty, does anybody have it right there to show? I always love to hold it up because it's just so pretty. But anyway, we have that as a resource. If you guys want to check out episode 5 and, you can shoot a DM on social media. But we do have that available. And not only is it pretty, but it does have a lot of really good information. I just like pretty things, so I kind of focus on that.
It's a great resource. It's a great resource. Yeah.
It really is. I know the one thing that we have always across the board agreed on for anybody who asks us about starting a business is that it's best in the very beginning to pick one platform and master that platform before you start moving on and adding others in. I think we're all right, ladies, in agreement on that.
I think that is the one thing we agree on with cross-listing, because you're going to hear very divergent points right now after we talk about, what we have in common with cross-listing. And that is one thing across the board that we agree on. It is much easier to master one before you start spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah, I think that's wise advice because it can get very overwhelming. So what I think I want to do is start and ask you two ladies to kind of chat about the different platforms you use and the strategies that you use for your cross-listing and why. And then
I'll start because I think I do it a little more simply than Tiffany. I mean, Tiffany definitely has more experience and uses it crosslist way more than I do in my business. So I have tested all sorts of platforms, all sorts of things. And, I've said a million times, my primary platform is eBay. So I do list everything on eBay. And then I'll pick and choose to cross list from there. So you'll see like a quick chat I did on YouTube about cross-listing to Facebook Marketplace and what works well there. Like I kind of use that as a little bit of a clearance center. We also cross-list to Poshmark, and how we do that kind of varies. We do Etsy. There are certain things that sell better on Etsy. So, I mean, that's kind of the philosophy I use is like, if there's something that's going to sell better on Etsy than it will on eBay, I will cross-list that item. If there's something I feel needs extra exposure on Poshmark, I'll cross-list there, but I don't have like a hard and fast rule. We're always experimenting. I guess it'll be about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now, I did an experiment to see what was worth it cross-listing for me. And really the results were, I still did 95% of my sale. I think it was 92% of my sales on eBay, even with some mad cross-listing using all different platforms. I mean, I was selling on Mercari, Grailed, Tradesy. I've experimented with all of them, but I came back to I really need to concentrate on one platform, and I do much better monetarily when I concentrate on one. So that's where I am. That's where I am with it. And we'll talk about a little bit about the tools we use in a little bit. But all right, go ahead, Tiffany, take it away.
Okay. Well, I also start mostly on eBay. I mean, well, I do start on eBay. And I used to just immediately, as soon as I put something up, immediately cross-list it everywhere. And now I don't do that. Now I've learned that it's kind of a pain if something sells immediately, because it gets the most attention the minute you list it. So if it sells immediately, then you immediately have to go back and like take it down from all the other sites. So now I'm giving it about 2 or 3 weeks on eBay before I put it out anywhere else. And Poshmark and Mercari are my main second and thirds that I do. But I do a lot on Etsy because I do a lot of antiques and handmade items. And so all those go on Etsy. And I've done Kitizen. And Kitizen is not just for kids, by the way. And if you look at my spreadsheet that we talked about, it also tells you what you can do. But you can actually do stuff for mommy on Kitizen. So all women's clothes and shoes and jewelry and everything can go on Kitizen. And then I do some Depop, and we've done a few things on Grailed and Tradesy, but I don't generally have a lot for those sites. So, and then I don't do the Facebook Marketplace like I should, because I don't know why, but I just don't. I do some, but not like Libby does. But when I have done it, when I did take Libby's advice and I did it for clearance, it actually worked. So I just need to do it more often. And then we also list on our Facebook business page shop, which we have to do manually. Like we'll talk about the other things that we use, but that's an additional work that we do manually.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that we do cross list to our Shopify store. Mm-hmm. And because we use Shopify for our live sales and stuff like that. So yeah, we do cross list to Shopify as well. I forgot about that. Thanks, Tiffany.
Yeah. So why don't the two of you discuss, and we know there's two of the most popular cross-listing tools that you can use. There's others, but the most popular are Vendoo and List Perfectly. You guys want to talk a little bit about the difference between the two and give people some information there?
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally don't have much. I have not used, we all use List Perfectly. The three of us use List Perfectly. I've never used Vendoo. I have watched some videos. There's a lot of really good YouTube videos out there comparing and contrasting the two. But as far as I know, the big difference between the two is that List Perfectly, you can list from platform to platform. Like I can go from eBay to Facebook Marketplace, from eBay to Etsy. Vendoo, I think you need to have, or at least you did at the time I was comparing, you need to put things in the Vendoo catalog in order to cross list. So you list from Vendoo to Poshmark, from Vendoo to Etsy. You don't cross list between platforms. And that is, I understand the big difference between the two, but check out some videos on YouTube comparing and contrasting if you're thinking about one over the other. We're not experts in that because we all use and love List Perfectly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is anything to add with that, Tiffany?
I've never looked at Vendoo at all, so I don't really know about that, but I can talk a lot about List Perfectly.
Well, since that's clearly what we know more about, why don't you've recommended that people, Google and watch some videos on Vendoo, since we're not the experts on that. So do y'all want to delve into List Perfectly?
Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to Blue Consignment on YouTube. She does an awesome video comparing and contrasting Vendoo and List Perfectly with timed results. And so I'm going to try to link that video up here because I really found it helpful and she just did a great job with the video. So, so
awesome.
List Perfectly. There's different levels of List Perfectly. You have your starter, your business, your professional, and they all offer different, different things depending on what you need for your business. I've done the starter and the business, but I switched to the business because of our needs for Shopify. And they have it really well laid out on their website if you're trying to choose a plan. The other thing is to consider is a lot of people have been using List Perfectly as their inventory management system, because you can import, I think, an unlimited on any plan, an unlimited amount of items to the catalog, to your personal catalog. That's a relatively new thing within the course of this year, I think.
Wow.
It didn't used to be like that. Mm-hmm.
So people have been using it. I have a separate inventory management system, but I have heard people using it to manage their inventory, which I think is an incredible option if you don't have a system to manage it yet, or you're looking into things.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used it all like that, Tiffany? Or
I don't really use it for inventory management, but it also, you can type in, when you sell something on List Perfectly, you can type in the fees, the shipping amount, what you sold it for, and it'll show you the profit on each item.
Oh,
and
wow.
It does have a sales analytics page, which basically just gives you a bar graph of basically you can easily see what you sold on eBay versus Poshmark or Mercari or whatever, because it's a bar graph. So it'll, of course, my eBay is like a lot longer than my other ones, but at least it gets you, it really is easy to look to see, okay, that's my number one platform, that's my number two platform, because it will tell you in profit, in dollars, like what your main platforms are.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it doesn't give you like detailed reports about the finances, but it will give you that quick graph that you can graph. So that's helpful. I like looking at that. Sometimes it gives you the year version, and then it gives you this month to date.
Oh, that is so cool. I haven't used that yet. Ooh,
I have to check that out.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we definitely use it differently. I don't put everything into List Perfectly, so I wouldn't have good data to compare and contrast at this point.
Right.
Platforms. But I think one of the things that Tiffany and I are going to do is post some quick chat videos of us cross-listing and using the tool and how we do it. So look for those. We'll link those up in the video here, but they will be quick chats, and they will be about List Perfectly and cross-listing and how we use it. So,
and there'll be screen shares, so you'll be able to see the step-by-step processes of the different ways that they use it, so you can really learn step-by-step if you've never done it before. So I always love those kind of things. I look for those kind of teachable video moments in so many things that I do in life. I'm a visual learner, so I love when there's things like the quick chats that we do that break down more detailed learning for people.
Like, I don't know what I did before YouTube. Like,
right.
How did I learn how to do anything? I had a laugh because my daughter is into sewing, and her sewing machine broke. So she had like everything disassembled on the table, watching a YouTube video, like trying to figure it out. It was pretty cool. It's pretty
That's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. My husband does that when he fixes anything in the house.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I've tried many different ways of cross-listing for a year, like a good year or so. We did everything manually without List Perfectly.
I did too.
I just kept the spreadsheet, and I just manually listed, cross-listed everywhere. And I just keep saying we, because my helper Lori does a lot of the cross-listing for me. But yeah, we did it manually forever. And then I signed up for List Perfectly, and we tried that, but we weren't using the List Perfectly catalog. We weren't storing anything in List Perfectly. We were just using it, like we would list on eBay, and we just use List Perfectly to send it to the other sites. Because originally, I think they were charging you for how many items you kept in the catalog on List Perfectly, and now there was a limit. But now they don't. Now it's unlimited. So now I do everything. I do it listed on eBay, then I send it to List Perfectly, and then I send it out from there. So we're working to get everything on List Perfectly. And I always start on eBay because eBay requires the most information.
That's smart.
So
I've heard, so Liz Perfectly has a podcast. It's the Seller Community Podcast, and Liz O'Kane, she's one of our community members, runs that with Snoop Dougie. And
Snoop Doggy.
isn't the greatest. They have this podcast, and we're going to link it up in the show notes for Liz Perfectly, and it's incredible. They have a lot of resources. They do a really great job. They have really great insight into Liz Perfectly and all really seller related topics. And what was my point with going down this road? So what were we talking about?
I was just talking about,
I said eBay require the most information.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Liz on the podcast actually said that she always starts on eBay as well, because it is the most robust system. They do require the most information. And yeah, definitely that is the way a lot of people start. And she's also where I learned that people are using it as an inventory management system. I believe she does. I don't want to misspeak, but check out the podcast and see. And we're going to link up. We have a coupon code to get 30% off your first month of List Perfectly. We're going to go ahead and link that up below for you if you're interested in trying it out. It's the code CHATS. Upon checkout, that's your coupon code, but we'll link it up for you, and we'd be thrilled to introduce you to it.
Yeah, quick question before we move on to talk about our community, which we love to talk about. Time saving wise, for people who did it manually, because you both said you used to do it manually, quick time saver. I mean,
of course, yes. Yes.
Yes, I'm trying to think like how much time you would save, because now they have the bulk listing, like you can bulk cross list. Gosh, it depending on how much cross listing you're doing. Yeah, I mean, it can save you hours and hours a week of time.
It doesn't 100% do everything for you, because like when you get into the open, each app requires different things. So and also it depends on what level of List Perfectly you buy. Because whatever plan you're on, more information will transfer with your, when you transfer or you send it. I'm not talking right, but the higher up plan that you will go on, the more information will transfer.
Gotcha.
So, I've tried different ones, but definitely it's a time saver. And then you still have to go tweak the listing a little bit, and because you get into the problem where like Macari's titles are shorter than eBay's titles. You have to like adjust things a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not an automatic process, but it is a time saver.
And we all know that when you're in this business, time is money.
Yes.
So you want to do anything that can save time. So we know for a fact now that List Perfectly will save you a lot of time. Anything else you want to touch base on with this? Because I think your quick chats that the two of you create are going to be huge. And the fact that we're linking those on are going to be huge, right? Anything else?
Yeah, I do really want to mention something that before delving, I mean, it is the trends to cross list everywhere. But before you do, please put some thought into how don't just get out there and cross list to every platform, because you may be wasting time. It may be a disaster waiting to happen. Check out what sells where. Consider if it's worth your time and energy to buy a cross listing tool, depending on what your volume is and where you want to sell. Like really put some thought into it before you just go out and do it, and whether it's going to be worth it for you and your business. And if you have questions, pop over into our community and ask. We have a lot of people that cross list there and can probably give you some really good advice, but please put some thought into it before you delve into this exciting cross listing journey.
Wow. Okay. I think that's like the perfect call to action ending of this segment you just threw out there. Like I couldn't have written that better. So with that, and you bring
one more point though.
Oh, wait, we got one more point. Okay, let's go.
That was a great ending, and sorry to mess it up, but I also want to say, make sure that you're willing, that you can stay on top of marking things sold. Because if it sells on Poshmark, you have to make sure you go into List Perfectly and mark it sold so that it will come off of eBay. and you have to do it in a fairly timely manner because it could sell within an hour. Both places I've had that happen. So,
and that can get messy.
It can.
Yes, yes. You're disappointing somebody somewhere when that happens.
Right.
All right. I think this is great advice. I think people are going to love getting into the quick chats that y'all do, and I can't wait for you to link them up and see them. So we're going to move on and talk about our beloved community. What do we have going on over there?
Well, we did get a comment on YouTube from me on our we had that episode on giving back to charity, and I realized that there was something that I didn't ask during the recording of the session. So I said, I realize I have a big question I forgot to ask when we recorded the giving back episode. We talked mostly about giving back when running a brick and mortar store, but I was wondering if you're an online consignment shop, do you mention that an item is being sold for charity in the description or even in the title on eBay or other sites?
Good question.
And I did answer that. And Molly, I'd love to hear I'm going to answer it a little bit here. Usually we just do that in the community. But my thought was that I do not put it in the description when I'm listing it. eBay has its own charity program, and I certainly don't want to interfere with that or step on anyone's toes. And who knows what rule or regulation is going to be coming down the pike for that, right?
I agree.
The other thing is eventually if it changes hands or becomes store inventory, you're going to have to adjust that listing because it is no longer for that charity. So that was my thoughts on it. I do advertise it on social media and things like that. Like I'll do a grouping like these sales benefit, blah, 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 but I do not put it in the individual listing.
I had another thought though. What if you made a store category, like in your store, about these are being sold for this charity or support this charity, and that's the name of the category. And you can just have stuff in that category, and then you can remove it or take it out or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I think you could do that. I mean, it depends. It could get busy if you have several charities. Like I know Conchi Consignment has a lot of charities in there, that are in the system that use, so you'd have a lot of additional categories if we did it. But if you're dealing with just 1 or 2 or 5, that might not be a bad thing to do. I think when you get to multiple, it's a lot harder to manage.
And I always think about, and this is me, this is not advice for anybody, like how many times do I have to touch that item? I like to list it and forget it. Like if I'm going back and managing and touching and changing descriptions, I'm losing.
Yeah, you're losing money.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really apply to me because right now I don't put a time limit on a consignment.
Mm-hmm.
So, once I commit that this is yours, it's always yours. So.
Okay.
And
so that might work for you.
Yeah. And for charity, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
Okay.
We also had a question from Emily about trademarking a store name or brand. Has anyone been through this process or have had a good resource?
What a great question.
Yeah. And that is answered in the community. We did get some feedback on that. Yeah. So check it out.
Check it out. Check us out. Because, it's us. So I'm going to tell you all, like I tell you every time, and at some point I'm going to remember to begin our episodes with this. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are a podcaster, as I am, subscribe to our podcast, YouTube, click that little bell so you get reminders.
And like this video if you like it.
Video. Please like it and comments. We comment. We love all that stuff. For more, to get connected with all the ways that C-chats, that's what I like to call us, consignment chats, C-chats, to connect with us in all ways, just need to go to consignmentchats.com, and that will link you up to everywhere that we are so that you can be with us always everywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then join our community. Just head over to Facebook and you'll see a way to join that private group if you're a seller and want to get really down and dirty and get some details and put some good questions out, because we have a lot of a lot of knowledgeable people in that community with great advice. I learn something new every week, and
I was going to say, I am learning. Yeah, I'm always learning.
I love it. It's a great community. So I think that's great. All right, ladies, until next week. And no, I do not have my mug because I'm on location. Tiffany.
Tiffany has hers in a new house.
Woo!
By the way, I moved.
She's in a new house. Until next week. Cheers.
Thanks for joining Libby, Molly, and Tiffany, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we talked about all things consignment. To learn more and keep chatting, find Consignment Chats on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and Instagram.